Hey everybody, today's video is something that you have been requesting forever and ever, and that is pure O OCD. Oh, I know you've been waiting, and here it is. So what is pure O OCD? Well, it's just what it sounds like, to be honest, right? OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. If we're talking purely O, it means it's only the obsessive portion, not the compulsions. And if you remember from my OCD video, which I will link here, you can go check it out, the compulsions usually are physical. Like I have to wash my hands a certain number of times. I need to turn the light switch on and off a certain number of times. I need to make sure I lock the door a certain number of times, or beep the car lock, or there can be all sorts of different things and compulsions that I have to do to alleviate the anxiety created by the obsession. However, with pure O, there are no physical compulsions. And I'm using the term physical because there are some cognitive ones that I'll get to later, so stay tuned for that. But pure O really expresses itself in intrusive thoughts. That's what those obsessions are. They are intrusive. They just pop into our head and they're like, hey, you really need to do this because that's really bad. But the way that it works with pure O tends to be, and this, as always, leave your experiences in comments below. Everyone's going to have their own unique and independent experience of this. I'm just reporting to you what I have researched and found. And that's just kind of from the professional side, so I know how to diagnose it and treat it. The obsessions with pure O tend to go against what we believe morally, ethically, religiously, and really what we believe about ourselves. An example that they gave in one of the research articles I was reading is this guy would be driving along and he would have these intrusive thoughts that would say, oh, I can just kill that pedestrian on the side there. I could just run her right over really quick. I could just do that. That could happen. And immediately following that thought, he'd have this whole other set of thoughts where he's like, oh my God, why would I think that? That's terrible. Am I a bad person? Oh my God, I think I'm a psychopath. How could I be a psychopath? And this honestly is how they feel a majority of their day. They will have all these intrusive thoughts that go against who they feel they are, and it can cause a lot of internal anxiety and upset. The interesting part about pure O is that these intrusive thoughts, or these thoughts that pop up into our head, tend to be aggressive or sexual in nature. And that is why they're so distressing. It has nothing to do with the person or who they are. They're not psychopaths, but it leads to a lot of those thoughts because it's really thoughts that they could never imagine themselves thinking, and they don't understand where it came from, and it feels really distressing because then they worry that they're going to feel compelled to do it at some point. Now, although pure O can express itself in a lot of different ways, the three most common, and I'm looking at my notes so I don't get them wrong, are number one, intrusive thoughts, just like we were talking about. Two, unwanted or inappropriate mental images. So seeing something, thinking of something, having it pop up in their head can be really distressing. And three, frightening impulses that go against the person's beliefs. Like, oh my God, I almost did that. I almost pushed that person over there. Or I almost did something that was really terrible. And so that is the way that it usually presents itself most commonly. As always, people are going to have different experiences, but that's what they know so far. Now, like I said, pure O does not come along with those traditional physical compulsions that we see in, the regular OCD, the traditional OCD. But it does come along with some cognitive compulsions. A lot of people will do some kind of mental avoidant behavior. They will also show a lot of signs of excessive rumination. Like I was saying before, as soon as that thought pops up, and then they're like, oh my God, am I a psychopath? No, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. And we can go around and around and around and around about that horrific intrusive thought or image or compulsion that we felt for just a second, and we're like, oh my God, and then we ruminate on that forever. And so there are a lot of cognitive compulsions that go along with this, which is why pure O is not actually a different diagnosis within the DSM. The most effective treatment for pure O OCD is CBT, and I'll link here to the video that I did about CBT if you want to learn more, but it's cognitive behavioral therapy and it helps us change those kinds of thought cycles that we get into. Also, I'm reading from my notes because this is not a therapy that I do and I don't have a ton of information on it, but feel happy to ask your therapist or look around on the internet, is exposure and response prevention, or ERP. It's sometimes not as successful in pure O because we don't have those specific triggers like traditional OCD may have, but they still find it to be pretty effective. And they also say that cognitive therapy, because with pure O we don't have the physical compulsions all the time, we maybe don't need that behavioral component, the CBT. We just need CT, cognitive therapy. Also, some people find SSRIs to be really effective. If that's something that you're considering, if you're in therapy and you're still struggling with these intense nasty, intrusive thoughts, might be something that you talk to your therapist and get a referral out to see a psychiatrist just to see if that might be a fit for you. And lastly, they talk about ACT, and it's a newer approach, so I don't have much information on it, but it's been shown to help with pure O. It's kind of, they call it acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. If I find more information, I'll link it below, but like I said, it's a really newer type of therapy specifically for pure O OCD. I hope you found this helpful. I know you've been asking about it forever, and because we're always working to reach more people and to remove the stigma associated with mental health, please, please, please share this on Facebook. That would be so wonderfully helpful. You can click all the links below here, boop, 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 to find me on all the different social media sites, because you never know what you're going to get. And I'll see you next time.